like riding on a bike, just running around, like grabbing girls' asses and running away. It was so ridiculous. We were just watching them. We're like, what the hell? And then we like grabbed some beers and sat down because we just like see what was going on, and then just got surrounded by 14-year-olds. Surrounded. They just swarmed us. They were just swarming Colleen because they could tell I understood what they said. Just like yelling swear words at her, and I was like, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here.
I don't think they could understand that I was telling them it was past their bedtime.
No. And then they're like, you like Italian boys? And we're like, no. they're like, why not us? And we're like, because you're 12. Like, what's going on? So then we headed back and decided we were going to go to Salerno the next day. So at breakfast the next day, just terrible Wi-Fi service. Like everywhere, apparently.
Yeah. We would literally go to places and with huge Wi-Fi signs, and they would tell us that the service was down that day.
Oh my god, it was outrageous. And we found out there's no train to Salerno from Bari. So we're like, okay, what are we gonna do? So then figuring out our options, and they said that we could take a train to Taranto and then to Bari and then to Salerno the next day. So we're like, man, let's get out of Bari. Let's get out of Bari. It's way too crazy. Like, let's just leave. So we're like, okay, let's just bike to Taranto. So we're like asking for directions because there's no Wi-Fi, so like we can't Google our route. And
we found a map which wasn't to the right scale, but we could see that there's a massive highway that people tried to keep sending us down.
yeah, like one guy was like, no, come with me, and like drove in front of us as we cycled behind him.
We got 2 escorts out of town.
Yeah.
Repeatedly to the highway.
Yeah, to the highway. We're like, no, not the highway. And they're like, go to the highway. And we're like, no. So we finally sat down at a McDonald's, which finally gave us Wi-Fi, and mapped out our route on the map. We're like, this will be fine. It's about like, well, it was like 30k more than the 90k it would take to get to Taranto. And it was 1 o'clock, so I was pretty late to leave. But we're like, okay, it'll be fine. So then we're biking, it's fine, there's a little hilly.
Yeah, it's a little hilly. We biked for about 3 hours when hunger struck.
Yeah, even though Colleen had like just sat down and ate 2 McMuffins, like found out we were biking, was like, all right, I'll have 2. This was like,
wow, that's not how I eat them, but I can answer them.
And so Colleen
give you energy.
So Colleen was like starving.
But only for 3 hours.
Yeah.
So I was literally just swerving on the road, just no reserve.
Yeah, and we're just going through all these towns and everything is closed. Like we're like, oh, a store, and it's like closed.
Yeah, it was Sunday. Even gas stations. So finally we come up to this place, and it's a restaurant, but clearly it's fancier than the ones we would go to in our cycling years.
Yeah, exactly. We're like sweaty and like dirty, and like it's a restaurant, and it looks like it's closed because there's a gate that's closed.
But it turns out they're just catering a private event.
Yeah, or something. Because we walked up to the gate, and I was like, "Is it closed?" And they're like, "Yeah, but just come on in. We'll see what we can do." And I was like, "Okay, I don't understand. Let's just go anyways." So then we walk up, and it's super fancy. And we're in like sweaty spandex,
and it was some girl's first communion party.
Yeah. So the owners are like, "We're closed." Yeah, they're like, "We're closed, but we'll see what you can do." And the owners were like talking to the family, and then I guess the family said it was cool. So they pulled up a chair, and we're literally sitting in the corner of this lovely family gathering.
It was beautiful. The meal was lovely. We only had the option of wine to drink.
Yeah, they're like, want some wine? And we're like, no wine. And they're like, okay, what type of wine? And we're like, no wine. They're like,
okay, I'll bring you
some house wine. They bring us like half a liter wine.
And then they're like, for dinner, so salad and steak? We're like, yes. Those were the only options.
Yeah, so I had salad, and Colleen had this like ginormous steak.
A T-bone steak bigger than my head. Before I got on the road for 4 hours again.
Like we're like drinking wine, like in the corner of this community, and the children are just staring. The adults are like, don't stare, and the kids are like,
avert your eyes. So anyway, got back on the road.
And we get back on the road, yeah. And then we have to go through like this really confusing set of towns. Mm-hmm. And like they're super confusing, like there's all these side streets that like you don't know where they are.
Yes. So these two youths.
We'll say youths, like around our age. We like run into them outside because the only way to go was the highway, and we couldn't figure out the other roads. So we
no, I was talking about the other car escort.
Oh,
there
yeah.
was one short car escort
yeah,
that
where
took
these
us out of town.
yeah
another
these
small
youths,
town.
and then they're like, "Hey Bella," and we're like, "No, thank you," and then we like cycle away.
But then we got to the next town, which
Yeah.
is when two guys decided that they couldn't explain how to avoid the highway to us, so they were going to drive us a half hour.
But yeah, it was a half an hour drive. And by the way, one of them looked exactly like Martin. Like an Italian
yeah,
Martin.
if you're
Thank you very much. Italian Martin. He's like, come with me, come with me. He's like, I'll watch. And like, you cycle. So they're like cycling, we're like cycling. This has been a long day. I'm like crying because like I've just had enough of cycling.
Yeah, at this point again, no reserves, just biking on nothing. And they're driving ahead, and we're just pedaling faster than we had pedaled all day.
Oh yeah, because they're like booting it, and we're like,
yeah, they warned us ahead of time that it's going to be a little hilly. Thanks, guys.
oh my god, outrageous. Also, beside us on the countryside, this is like the middle of the country, right? There are these cows, and they all individually have cowbells on them.
Probably 60 cows.
Yes, so they're all just mooing and belling. Like, it was outrageous. You walk by and they all look up because of the bikes, and they're just like, ee! Anyways, so then finally these guys get us to the next town, Masafra,
which is when I went into a Seward rate,
Oh.
and I soon popped my tire because
Like-
I had a flat until we got to Taranto, which was another probably 35 kilometers.
Yeah, pretty far.
On what was clearly just highway.
Yeah, sketchy, dark highway. So we both would get
was a normal road, and then somehow just
surprise highway.
2 lanes
Yeah,
out
like-
of nowhere.
Anyways, yeah, so we like finally get to Taranto. It wasn't even a relief. We were just both so done. We were just done.
I
Like,
couldn't even cry because I didn't have the energy.
Then we get there, we see a hotel, we're like, looks expensive, I don't care. Like literally slap down €80, we're like, whatever. Get there, it's Mother's Day, so we're like trying to get Wi-Fi
literally
access.
Just wanted Wi-Fi.
Yeah, we're like trying to get home at 9 because that was my Skype date with my mom, and we're trying to get Wi-Fi access. It's not happening, not happening. We're literally lying on the bed watching Geordie Shore.
Oh, Geordie Shore dubbed over in Italian, and then what's that? Wipeout.
Wipeout in
Also
Italian.
in Italian.
We were laughing. It's not even that funny.
It's
Just
not.
killing ourselves
Just-
laughing.
We were done.
So we passed out before finding out when the train to Salerno left.
Yeah, Aaron was asleep before I got out of the shower.
Yeah, just and we wake up in the morning and we're like, okay, let's try to like check out because we couldn't find it on the Wi-Fi, and everyone's telling us different things, and we're like,
Wi-Fi wasn't working. There's no Wi-Fi anywhere.
no, we're like, let's just go to the train station. So we go to the train station. We're like, okay, train to Salerno. They're like, all right, that'll be tomorrow. And we're like, oh no, we have to stay in Taranto. We're so upset. Taranto's literally a port town.
So then we decided we're just gonna aggressively get on the bus.
Yeah, there was a bus going to Napoli, and we're like, they're like, I don't know if they'll let you take your bikes, and we're like, okay, let's just do this thing. We're like, we're trying to put a bus on the bus.
I think it honestly would have worked if there hadn't been so many people getting on.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, the bus driver's like, no, and we're like, no, we can do it. Don't worry, like we'll take apart our bags. It'll be fine.
I have a flag.
They're like, no. We're like, please. And then so, also at that point, my debit card just doesn't work because apparently I can't remember my PIN, which I can. I don't know what happened there, but anyways, locked me out. So we're like sitting in the middle of Taranto, no plans, no bus.
And I don't know if we've talked about the emotional highs and lows of this trip,
But they're
it's
crazy.
literally been a roller coaster.
Yeah.
So at this point, Erin had to call her parents, and I decided to call my mom just for something to do, which was a mistake because we're both just
crying
falling
at
in the train station.
Everyone's looking at us
the
like
largest scene.
I'm just like sitting on my bags like, Cully's like leaned up against the wall.
But then things turned around when we met Giovanni on the street back from the train
Because
station.
at this point, yeah, Colleen had a flat, and we're like, this guy has a bike. He might know where a bike shop is. And he's like, no, but like I can show you where the hostel is, and I can go borrow some tire levers from my friend.
Oh yeah, I'll be right back.
Oh,
You
I'll be
guys
right
just
back.
wait here.
Yeah, so he drops us off at this hostel, which is like super cheap, and like the owner's okay, even though there's no Wi-Fi. And he's like, okay.
Oh yeah, but we have to explain that there's no Wi-Fi because the router is portable, and he brought it to his house.
Yeah, because he wanted Wi-Fi at his house.
People just take lights from the street and run it into their own houses.
And their own shops. Like, that's how half the shops in the region that we're in are powered.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Giovanni comes back, tries to take out the tire, breaks both of the tire levers that we got. So
And
we're like,
he borrowed from his friend.
yeah, so we're like, oh no! And he's like, no, it's okay, I'll call my friend who owns a bike shop.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. But he's not open until 4. And we're like, okay. And he brought us pizza as well with us.
Yeah, that was so lovely.
Like, he's like, here's some free pizza that I brought for you. And we're like, oh my god, you're awesome. And then he's like, okay, well, why don't you guys just come back to my house for tea? And then, we'll just wait until the bike shop's open. We're
yeah,
like,
you can use my internet.
okay, so we go to his house, he
sure.
makes us this tea. We watch, what did we watch? Was it
Oh god, ridiculousness?
Ridiculousness? Turns out we've run into like the only Italian Rastafarian that it
Loves
loves Rastafari.
reggae.
Yeah, loves it.
He loves it. Oh, also we met, what was his name? Marcelo Coleman.
Yeah, he's apparently like a famous Italian reggae singer.
Yeah.
Just on the street. So we hung out with Giuseppe and then Giovanni. Sorry, I keep forgetting his name, but he's a lovely dude.
Yeah.
And
Anyway, we watch all these YouTube videos and then go to the bike repair shop. It costs €2 to change the tire.
and like we go into all these bars with like the lights being strung from the streets, and like
they're still waiting for this repair guy.
yeah, and Giovanni knows everybody, so he's like talking to the grocery store owners. The grocery store owners give us free cherries. They're like, here you go, have some free cherries. We're like, okay, like might as well.
Yeah.
and then he shows us through this church.
Yeah.
That's this cathedral that's nearby, and we got to see like the downstairs and the upstairs. And then we came here. and then he left us, so he came here, and he's gonna show us a museum later.
Yep.
And then tomorrow we're off to Naples.
Finally!
Yay!
I'm so excited to be out of Southern Italy.
Like, I asked 15 times whether they took bikes. Like, the guy was so sick of me. I'm like, okay, bikes at 9:50 tomorrow. He's like, yes. And I was like, if you are wrong, I'm going to punch you through the glass. I don't know how it's going to be possible, but it's going to happen. Okay, so we'll update you with what things happen from here. We probably should get out of here because these youth look like they're steal this iPad.
Again. Anyway, we'll update you from Napoli.
Okay, love you guys.
Ciao.
Bye.